Yeah. And coming to your practice. And now we start the practice of yoga. Using the exhales to soften. I assume because you're choosing to roll out your mat, choosing to practice, that you're aware of the mind-body-breath connection, and that we're choosing to find a state of peace, to bring ourselves back into balance. To practice awareness of the mind, the body, the spirit. Become aware of the choices. We choose to roll out our mat. What are the other choices we have? Some things we have no choice in. Others we can. So we choose to become aware of the thoughts, to become aware of our bodies resting on the earth, to become aware of the breath and our hearts. Acknowledging that we have choices. We have the choice to pay attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. Paying attention on purpose in this moment without judgment. Using wise effort. Acknowledging that we're using the breath to quiet the mind, aware of the body resting on the earth, following the breath from the tip of the nose, following the breath till it's released. Breath flowing in, breath releasing, one breath following the next with just a gentle pause between. Acknowledging the wisdom in the practice. Is there wisdom in awareness? We can only change what we know, make choices on what we know, using what our knowledge in the present, and we forgive ourselves for what we didn't know, and we try again. So as we move in our practice, we move forward in our practice, we become a little bit more aware, a little more compassionate, practicing a little more mindfulness, aware of the breath that guides us. What is your intention for your practice today? What do you hope your practice brings to you? Shortening that to a word or a phrase, placing it in an I am statement and repeating it softly to yourself a few times as if it were true and already happening. And gently, we draw the focus back to watching the breath. Watching the rhythm that the breath takes in your body. Scanning your body with the inhale, finding any places of tension or gripping and using the exhales to soften. Throughout the practice of asana, the physical practice of yoga, we acknowledge the choices. The choice of resting in stillness, the choice of moving with the breath, the choices of moving deeper, and the choice of backing out of something that doesn't feel right. Checking in, using compassion for yourself. Meeting your body wherever it is today, so that with your next inhale, as you extend and reach through the fingertips, there's a softening in the shoulders, a release and lengthening through the back, side, and front body, and the breath moves freely. And with the exhale, the arms float to a comfortable position. And with your inhale, they extend. Maybe they're out to the side. Maybe they're overhead. Maybe you're doing both. What feels like an organic movement for you? Touching breath and body. Letting the breath guide the movements. And with the next exhale, allow the arms to settle on either side of the hips. Inhale, filling the front and back of the heart space. Exhale, soften. Inhale. And exhale, draw the knees in for a hug. One knee and then the other. Lying on your back if you were sitting. Allowing a long spine. Allowing for the first maybe movements you've taken this morning. Maybe experimenting with rocking from side to side, noticing what you've brought to your mat. Letting go of the efforting, finding the ease, and then coming to stillness there and allowing the feet to float to the earth. Exhale, belly button hugs towards the floor, the lower back opens. Inhale, hip points rock towards the knees, upper body lengthens, heart puffs up. Exhaling and inhaling. Pelvic tilts, the whole pelvic bowl dumps forward and then scoops up. And we feel that echoing through the entire thoracic body. Inhaling and exhaling, and then finding stillness there. Finding the foundation through the bottoms of the feet, setting yourself up for success. How does this feel? Shoulder blades tuck one and then the other towards the center of the back, and they slide away from the ears. And we have a foundation through the shoulder blades, the upper back, the soles of the feet. The back of the head rests, letting go of all tension in the jaw. Finding the breath and using it to guide you as you inhale, the hips lift. As you exhale, they float back down to the earth. Maybe just an inch or two. Maybe resting in stillness and just seeing the movement. Breathing into the heart space. Maybe your body's ready to come a little deeper into the pose. Maybe not. Maybe rolling up one vertebra at a time, puffing up the heart towards the chin, and exhaling, slowly rolling down, experimenting with this, being curious, letting go of all efforting, finding the ease for your body today. In this moment, paying attention without judgment. And the next time you inhale, find stillness there with the hips lifted, the shoulder blades rooting to the earth, the soles of the feet, part of the foundation as the inner thighs gently hug, the legs are active, the back body lifts and lengthens you wherever you are, envisioning it or moving into it. And when you're ready with the exhale, we come back down to rest the hips onto the earth. Inhale there, exhale, draw the knees in again. Rocking side to side or maybe still on the back and making some circles with the legs in the hip sockets. What do you need right now? And then coming to stillness with the knees over the hips as if you were sitting in an invisible chair. Let the arms float to the floor with the palms facing down. They're a little bit away from the hips. And you can use them as leverage if you need it. Shoulder blades resting on the earth. Core is engaged. Pit of the belly hugging towards the earth and up towards the heart. Long spine. Noticing all the natural curves. Back of the head, lower back. Front ribs gently hug towards the floor. Inner thighs are active, but the knees don't have to touch. With your exhale, both knees float a little to the right, a few inches. Inhale to center, exhale to left. So that you're moving side to side. Coming as deep as your body allows right now. Without efforting, the breath stays smooth and even, and you become aware of any gripping and tension. Choosing to back out of anything that doesn't feel right. Nice. And the next time you exhale over to the left, allow the knees to float onto the earth. The right hip lifts even as the shoulders stay on the earth. And we can breathe into the right side body. Softening there. Inhaling, exhaling, resting in the stillness. Finding the ease in the pose. With your next exhale, the belly gathers in one knee and then the other comes back to center, and then it floats over to the other side, to the right side, maybe. Opening up through the left side body, allowing the breath to fill that space. Creating space. As we let go of the efforting and the tension, we create space for the breath. With your exhale, the belly gathers one knee and then the other comes up to center, maybe drawing them in for a hug, maybe rocking or not. And then letting the feet float to the earth and rolling over onto one side or the other. Allowing the breath to fill the back of the heart, to extend to fill the entire thoracic body. The ribs protecting the lungs. As you soften the muscles between the ribs, the lungs can fill completely. And so we take a deep inhale, allowing the body to soften, and a complete exhale, gently hugging the breath out. Then using your hands on the floor in front of you to press yourself, to press into the earth, to draw yourself up and over onto all fours. Taking the time to pad your knees, if that's more comfortable for you. Finding your expression of tabletop. Setting yourself up for success, finding the foundation, and rooting into the earth. Letting go of all efforting. With your exhale, tailbone tucks, spine starts to round to the ceiling. Maybe the top of the head drops towards the floor. With your inhale, tailbone lifts, belly softens, heart glides between the arms, maybe lifting the gaze. Inhaling and exhaling, following your breath. And you can move deeper with the breath, and you can rest in stillness. And you can back out of what doesn't feel good. Letting the breath guide you one movement at a time. And then coming to rest in stillness in the inhale, softening the back of the neck even as you lift the gaze, aware of the foundation, aware of the strength in the arms and the softness in the elbows, finding that balance, of the sternum extending away from the belly button, reaching between the arms to where the ceiling meets the wall. Of the breath moving into that space that you've created in the front body, lengthening out of the hips so there's no compression in the lower back. My cues bring awareness, and you get to choose to take what you need and let go of the rest. What works for you? Where are you working in your body, mind, and spirit? With your next exhale, the belly gathers, we find a neutral spine, and we reach the hip creases back towards the heels, maybe walking the knees wide, letting the big toes touch to settle into child pose. Taking time, enjoying the journey. As we inhale, the heart lengthens away from the belly, and as we exhale, we float down towards the earth, allowing gravity to draw us deeper. Softening, melting the heart towards the earth, softening the shoulders, releasing the jaw, and the muscles around the eyes, and finding the breath on the back body. Breathing into the wings of the heart. Exhaling there and inhaling up onto all fours and taking some hip circles, letting the hips rotate out to the side, towards the heels, forward, and then reversing those circles. Letting the breath guide the body. Nice. And then finding stillness there. Inhaling, the left leg extends straight back, curling the toes under, reaching into the heel. How are you being in the pose? How do you set yourself up for success, finding the foundation? Using the breath to inhale that leg straight up towards the ceiling, straight out of the hip and up to the ceiling. Foot is flexed, reaching into the heel. Keeping length in the right side body by drawing that right hip crease back and in. And then maybe you experiment with inhaling the right arm. And maybe you choose not to today. Maybe you have space to move a little deeper. As you inhale, the thumb lifts to the ceiling, the heel reaches out of the hip, and the entire leg reaches up. Breathing in, breathing out. How are you being in the pose? You need to find a place that the breath is a little smoother for you. Exhaling, the hand floats down, that knee comes in. Inhaling, come up over the knees, hips and shoulders stack. We rotate through the shoulders, taking big circles. Inhale the shoulders to the ears, exhale, let them drop. Inhale up, exhale down, and then take that shoulder loop as they slide to the ears, they slide together and they soften down the back. Interlacing the fingers to the webbing and then reversing the top finger, so awkward. And rolling through the wrists. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can make small, gentle fists and rotate the hands individually and then reverse those circles. Nice. And then shake it out, let it go. Fan the fingers open, palms to ceiling. Exhale, curl them in. Inhaling one finger at a time, opens, we extend, and exhaling, slowly curling in. Last time. And then shaking it out and rolling through those shoulders again. And softening down the back. As we exhale, we're aware of the belly gathering, of the heart lifting. As we inhale, soften through the shoulders, and exhale, hinge forward, back into our tabletop. Moving with awareness, on purpose, without judgment. We're inhaling and exhaling, settling into the foundation of the pose. And inhaling, the right leg extends, toes curl under, and we reach into that heel. Maybe this side feels a little different. Shoulders stayed right where they were, just in back of the wrists, creases of the wrists. Arms stay strong without locking the elbows. What are you aware of? Where are you gripping or holding? You find a little softness and ease in the pose. And when you're ready, inhale, keep everything right where it is. Inhale the right leg straight up to the ceiling. It's strong and active, working against gravity. The bottom ribs, front bottom ribs, hug in and up towards the ceiling so that we're not collapsing into the lower back. But we're finding the support with a long spine. And maybe this is where we're staying. And maybe we choose to experiment with extending the left arm alongside the ear or in that general direction. Softening the arm in the shoulder socket. Inhaling, leg lifts higher. Maybe we have space to lift the thumb higher. How are you being in the pose? How's the breath? Does it feel easeful and smooth? Meeting the body wherever it is today without compromising the breath. Throat is open from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. One straight line. Nice. Exhale, soften it down. Walk the hands forward, one handprint. Curl the toes under as we press into the palms of the hands, as if we could slide the top of the mat away from us. The hip creases reach back. And we can choose to stay right here, pressing into the top of the mat, reaching the hip creases back, finding length through the back body. Easy breath. Arms are in their sockets. No tension. Maybe with your exhale, the belly gathers and we lift the knees, keeping the arms extended. Maybe with your inhale, you can straighten into those knees, reaching the hips up and back, and then walk your dog. Deeply bending one knee, straightening the other, moving from side to side. Maybe one side feels a little different than the other, and you take a couple of rounds of breath in that side. Arms stay extended, reaching the hip creases back. How are you being in the pose? Maybe coming to stillness for a couple of rounds of breath. In your expression of downward dog this morning, maybe the knees are coming back to the earth and you're finding the extension supported this way. How's the breath? Nice. With your exhale, the knees float back down to the earth. Inhaling, the left leg extends in back of you. Exhaling, step it forward between your hands. Maybe you have blocks, and so you're placing the blocks underneath the palms of your hands. In this low lunge, what does that mean for you? The left knee is over the left ankle. The shoulder blades are soft down the back. We're breathing into the right hip crease. All right. 3 levels on these blocks. Maybe it suits you and your body to be in the highest level today. And then the breath moves a little freer. So experiment what feels right for you. And as you root into the blocks and find that foundation or the earth, you can inhale the heart a little more forward. Soften the back of the neck, gaze to the floor. Nice. Drawing the left femur bone into the hip socket, left hip crease reaches back. Get a little deeper opening in the right hip crease. Yes, maybe. With your exhale, draw the left hip crease back, straighten that left leg. Maybe lifting the toes, flexing the foot. Inhale, rocking forward gently into the right hip crease. Moving slowly, mindfully with the breath. Maybe you're up here. Gently moving in and out. Taking all weight off of the hands. The wrists, the shoulders. What is working for you today? Moving with awareness, keeping a long spine. Not collapsing the front body. Next time you inhale, find stillness there. Walk both hands, maybe with the blocks, to the inside of that left leg. Walking that left foot out to the side a little. And we're not hanging on the left hip or the right hip. We're just resting there with integrity, inhaling, lifting through the heart, rooting into that left foot, hugging the right hip point up, soft shoulders, easy breath. Nice. And then backing out of this and stepping that left foot back, left knee back. Shake it out, let it go. What do you need to do to let this side go? Wrists, hands, shoulders, hips. And then we'll find that plank pose again. Tabletop again. And maybe you'll stay on the blocks so that you have lots of space to inhale that right leg back and exhale, draw the knee to the chest, step it forward between the hands. Once you're there, you can settle into the left hip, whatever that means for you. Maybe you're staying up here, stacking shoulders over hip, hips, knee over ankle, breathing into that left hip crease. Maybe you have space to settle a little deeper, but not hanging. Always rooting into the right foot. Inhale, lengthening the ribs out of the lower back. Softening with the breath. What are you aware of? Can you find a little more ease in the pose? With your exhale, drawing that right hip crease back as you straighten that right leg, lifting the toes, maybe or not. Inhale, coming forward slowly on purpose, lifting through the heart space. Exhale, opening up the back. Hamstrings, hip, lower back. Where do you feel this? Maybe this side's a little different than the other. Moving with your breath. Finding a rhythm that works for you. Making space. Nice. Next time you inhale, find stillness. Exhale, root into that right leg. Walk the hands to the inside and walk that foot out a little. A high lizard pose. Sorry. Breathing in, breathing out. Where are you gripping or holding? Where can you soften? Exhaling, belly gathers, and that right leg steps back. And we find our cat and cow, or wag our tails, or take hip circles, or roll the wrists. And we can do any one of them. Let go. And coming to stillness and finding your expression of child pose. 2 rounds of breath here. Choosing to stay with the breath. to allow the thoughts to settle, to bring a little peace and balance back into the body. And then we're inhaling up and coming over onto the right side. So I'll try and mirror. The right forearm is parallel to the short end of the mat. The hips are on the floor. Knees are bent to start. This right shoulder slides down the back, shoulder blade. The forearm roots to the earth so that all the muscles around the shoulder girdle are strong and supporting you. Gazing forward, soften the gaze. Maybe you're staying right here. Maybe you're inhaling and extending that left arm straight out, finding that heart open and breathing into that space. And then notice the thoracic body. Are you just hanging out, dumping towards the earth, or can you lift up and lengthen and find those muscles that wrap around the ribs that face the floor, lift you up to find a straight left side body? Yes? Maybe. Maybe this is where you'll stay. Maybe you're extending that top leg straight out and flexing that foot. Maybe you're pressing into the bottom leg, thigh, knee, foot, yes. And inhaling, lifting the hips. Exhale, lower down. How's your shoulder? Stays down the back. Yeah, it's tough, right? So maybe that's not the place for you. Maybe a straight arm. See how that feels. Are you better able to soften that shoulder blade down the back, find that heart opening, and inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lower down. Just noticing as you breathe into that open heart, finding length through the core body, not dropping to the earth. So maybe this is enough. Right here. One more round of breath here. And exhale, lower that hand down and roll onto the back body. Lowering down slowly, mindfully. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Take a couple of rounds of breath here. Check in. Scan the body with the breath. Inhale, fill the heart space. Exhale, soften. Where are you gripping? Where do you need to move it around to let go? And then rolling over to the other side. Setting yourself up. Maybe this side's different. Maybe this shoulder is different. Maybe this hip is different. If you have a blanket, sorry, I forgot to say that, you can put a blanket under your hip. And maybe that's enough of a lift off the earth. So find the foundation, either forearm parallel to the front of the mat with an active shoulder sliding to the center of the back, rooting into the earth. Aware of the integrity of the spine, long spine, not letting the head hang. Breath is the most important thing. Can you lengthen the top hip away from the armpit so that you're not curved, sinking to the earth? Maybe this is where you're staying. Maybe you're extending that top arm straight off the shoulder. Breathing into this space, rooting to the earth through the forearm, reaching through the fingertips. Maybe you're inhaling the hips off the earth. Maybe you're extending that top leg straight out. Top leg extends, sole of the foot or pinky toe, big toe side of the foot. The bottom ribs, the muscles that wrap around them, lift you up off the floor. Exhale, soften down. How's that shoulder? Keep rooting to the earth. Lengthening through the side body. Inhaling up. Exhaling, maybe lowering down. Maybe staying there. What works for you? Find the breath. Keep the shoulder blades on the center of the back. Nice. With your exhale, lower down, all the way to the earth and roll onto the back body. Knees are bent, feet walk the width of the mat. Knees fall together. Soften there. With the head, back of the head resting on the floor. Tucking the chin towards the notch in the collarbone. Find a little length and release in the back of the neck. Sigh the breath out. Inhaling the knees up over the ankles and finding windshield wiper. Exhaling both knees to one side, letting the hips sway with the movement. The shoulders resting on the earth. Maybe the arms extend, goddess or straight out, or a deeper opening. What do you feel? What do you notice? Not judging, just becoming aware. The asymmetry in the body, of the thoughts that tug at you. Aware of the breath that guides you. Finding the ease in the movement. And then finding stillness. Exhaling that right knee in for a hug, interlacing the fingers and back of the thigh. Softening through the shoulders. Moving in and out of this with inhaling, letting the arms extend, exhaling, hugging gently that thigh in, using the breath. Aware of the breath that moves all the way to echo into the belly, and then gently hug the belly in. And then finding stillness, releasing that bind, inhaling that leg straight up to the ceiling. Root into the hip, root into the sacrum, extend into that heel, and then make some circles through the ankle. Reverse those circles. What do you notice? And then find stillness. Bending the toes out, curling them in. The breath is guiding you. The earth supports you. Finding stillness there. Flexing the foot. And crossing that ankle over the thigh. Offering that right knee to extend away from you. Keeping the weight of the sacrum, aware of the natural curve in the lower back, aware of the breath. Maybe you have space to walk that left heel a little closer to the sitting bone. Right knee softening away from you, keeping that right foot flexed. Maybe it's in your practice to take the bind and you exhale and lift that left leg, foot, and interlace the fingers in back of the thigh. And then you use the breath to scan the body. How does this feel? And we can move out of this by placing that left foot back on the floor and exhaling both knees a little over to the left. And we can stay in stillness. And we're moving with the breath. Aware of that right knee that wants to come closer, offering it to move away from us. Noticing how the back body feels, the side body, without judging. Next time you inhale up, find stillness there. The left foot comes back to the floor. If you've lifted it, the right leg extends straight up. Reach into that heel one more time. Exhale, the belly gathers and that leg lowers to the earth, bent knee or straight leg, core is engaged. Let that leg rest on the earth. Let the left leg come to meet it. Take a couple of breaths here. Release into that support beneath you. Find the breath. With your next exhale, the right knee bends and that foot floats to the earth. Inhale there and exhale, left knee in for a hug. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. Let them rest on the earth. No efforting. Inhale, the thigh moves away from the belly a little. Exhale. Maybe you have space to hug it a little closer. Experimenting. Choosing to be kind to your body and meet it wherever it is today, not forcing anything. Following the breath. Coming to stillness with the next exhale, releasing that bind and inhaling the leg extends towards the ceiling. Sacrum stays rooted to the earth, equal weight in both hips. Reaching into that heel and then making some circles through the ankle. And reversing those circles. Even as we notice the simple habits of the body and mind, always going one direction first and then the other. Inhale, fan, toes fan away from each other. Exhale, curl them in. Some habits are neutral. Some habits maybe don't suit us anymore, and we can let go of them and create new habits of the body, mind. Finding stillness there, keeping that foot flexed and crossing the ankle over the thigh. And offering that left knee to move away from you. Noticing what you feel. Where this side might be a little different. Maybe this is where you're staying and this is enough. Soften. Maybe you have space and you can step that right heel a little closer to the sitting bone. Maybe you have space to exhale that right foot off the floor and interlace the fingers in the back of the thigh, soft shoulders. And maybe you choose to back out of that and let that right foot rest on the earth. Maybe you choose to get some movement here, so you keep the left foot flexed and exhale. Take a gentle twist to the right, as if you could plant that right foot on the earth. Inhale, knees come back up to neutral, resting on the sacrum. Exhale, moving slowly, mindfully, with intention, paying attention, using the breath to guide you, finding the ease in the pose, in the flow, keeping the integrity of the posture, not compromising the breath. With your next inhale, flowing back up to center, exhaling, releasing that bind, inhaling, extending that leg straight up to the ceiling one more time. And exhale as the belly gathers, we lower that leg. Maybe with a bent knee, maybe it extends straight till it rests on the earth, and we allow the right leg to slide out to meet it. And we use the breath to scan the body. Let go of the efforting. Mindful breath in, mindful breath out. Inhaling the right arm alongside your ear, soften the arm there. Maybe that means bending the elbows so the arm rests on the earth comfortably. And then walking both legs over to the left, allowing the breath to fill the length of the right side body. Aware of the muscles between the ribs that soften to allow the lungs to fill completely, creating space. And with your inhale, the legs walk back to center and that right arm floats down. And then we can inhale the left arm alongside the ear, or in that general direction. And then when you settle into that, you can walk both legs over to the right, keeping the hips and the shoulders on the earth, lengthening through the left side body, and breathing into that space. Where do you go when you rest in the stillness? Drawing yourself back to the breath. You begin again. With each breath, a new beginning. With your next inhale, that left arm floats down, the legs walk back to center. And we exhale and draw those knees in for a hug, rocking from side to side if it feels good. Maybe coming into happy baby. So we rest in stillness, and then we have a choice to clasp in back of the knees and draw those knees out to the sides of the ribs, soften through the shoulders. Maybe you exhale there and inhale heels up to the ceiling. So thighs stay drawing towards the ribs and the heels float towards the ceiling. Soften through the shoulders, no efforting there. Maybe you're resting here. Maybe you're rocking from side to side. Maybe you reach up for calves or ankles. Maybe you stay right there, palms of the hands and back of the thighs. Then coming into stillness here, letting the knees come together and the feet to float to the earth with the exhale. Walking the feet wide, letting the knees fall together and bringing the arms out into goddess arms, cactus arms. Softening there. Tucking the shoulder blades underneath you so that they lie flat on the earth. And then soften the breath. Allow the body to accept the breath. Let go of all efforting. Finding that reclining windshield wiper again, we inhale the knees over the ankles and float them side to side. And then finding stillness and walking the feet back to hips distance, leaving the right foot resting on the earth. bent knee. And inhaling that left leg straight up to the ceiling again. Keeping the gaze to the ceiling, softening there. With your exhale, bending the knee, drawing it to the chest. With your inhale, extending it up to the ceiling. And with your exhale, lowering that leg halfway. Drawing the ribs to the earth. The breath is smooth. Reach into the heel. Exhale, float that leg slowly to the earth. Bend the knee, slide that foot to the floor. Inhale there. Exhale, gather the pit of the belly. Inhale, that leg extends straight up to the ceiling. We're staying on the left side. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower halfway. Reach into the heel, hug the front ribs to the earth. The breath stays smooth. Keep weight in the right hip. Exhale, lower that leg straight out to the earth. Bend the knee, place that foot. Sole the foot down. Find the breath. Exhaling, belly gathers. Inhaling, right leg extends up to the ceiling. Exhale, knee draws into the chest. Inhale, reach the heel up. Exhale, lower it halfway. Keep the front ribs drawing to the earth without efforting. The breath stays smooth. With your next exhale, that leg slowly lowers with the breath, resting on the earth, then bending the knee and letting the sole of the foot find its place. Exhaling, knee draws in. Inhaling, extending to the ceiling. Exhaling, lowering halfway to the earth. Keep drawing that left hip down, weight in the sacrum, ribs hugging without compromising the breath. Exhale, that leg rests on the floor. Bend the knee, let the foot, sole of the foot find the earth, find the breath. Maybe one hand comes to the heart center, the upper chest. Breathe into the palm of your hand. Allow the back body to rest into the earth. Find the breath, moving all the way into the side waist. That space just below your ribs, in alignment with the belly button. Deep breath in, maybe sighing the breath out or parting the lips. If you have a block, make sure, bring it a little closer so that you can reach it. And then setting up your foundation for bridge pose so that the shoulder blades are tucked under the center of the back and they slide away from the ears. We root into the feet and the legs become active. Soften the jaw, tucking the chin, keeping the head resting on the earth. With your inhale, as you root down, the hips lift up. Maybe rolling in and out of your bridge with intention. And then when you're ready, resting in the stillness of the pose, maybe taking that block in its lowest height, maybe a little higher, the next height, to come into a supported bridge. Or a deep opening through the heart center. Maybe your hips are resting on the earth. maybe a pillow or a blanket. Find the ease in the pose so that the breath moves freely and you can lengthen and open through the front body, creating space. Space for the breath. Finding the balance of efforting and ease. If you're resting on the block and it's higher than the lowest level, bring it down to the lowest level. You can choose to stay here, or you can inhale one leg and then the other to come up over the hips or legs up the wall. And then we settle the legs in the hip sockets and soften through the feet. This is a restorative pose. We find the breath and allow it to come back to our natural rhythm. One breath leading to the next. Choosing to follow the breath. Acknowledging the thoughts and choosing to come back to the breath. Maybe you're taking 3 or 4 more rounds of breath like this. Maybe you're bending the knees. Maybe the feet float to the earth. What is sustainable for you? What feels good or right for your body right now? What allows the breath to stay smooth and even without compromising the breath? When you're ready, you're bending the knees, allowing the feet to come back to the earth. So you can root into them, lift the hips to remove any props, and then lower softly down to the earth. Maybe extending one leg and then the other. Choosing to rest on the earth. To release into that support for 2 more rounds of breath. And with your next exhale, the belly gathers and one knee and then the other draws in for a hug and you rock from side to side. And then find stillness there and extend the right leg straight out on the floor in front of you, letting the right hand come to the left knee and that left arm to float out to the side. With your next exhale, we draw that left knee over into a gentle twist. And how does it feel to be in this pose? Right leg extended, left knee drawing over, or vice versa. One leg extended, one knee bent. Shoulders resting on the earth. Finding the length through the side body from armpit to hip. Maybe this twist doesn't suit you. Maybe you breathe easier in stacked knees. Maybe you like windshield wiper twist. Always options. You get to choose what works for you. Settling into stillness in the pose. Finding the breath filling the side body. Your next inhale, that knee or knees come back up to center. That leg extends straight out onto the floor. And the opposite knee draws in. The right arm extends, and the left hand draws that leg over, right knee over into a twist. Maybe this side's a little different. You get to choose what is right for your body in this moment. Using the exhales to soften, choosing to move deeper or back out to allow the breath to be easeful, letting go of all the efforting. With your next inhale, that knee floats up and then extends straight out onto the earth. Inhaling, filling the front and back of the heart space. Exhaling, maybe those knees draw in for one final hug or any other movement that would complete your practice, any other pose. And then when you're ready, preparing for Shavasana, resting in Shavasana, or maybe using this for a time of meditation. So resting in awareness, so that can be seated or lying down. Aware of the earth beneath you, the sky above you. And choosing stillness as you root into the support of the earth and find length through the back body. And we can even find this lying down. We're aware of the length of the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone with all its natural curves. Maybe we can become aware of the bones floating in the body. We find that feeling of letting go of the efforting, keeping the integrity, allowing for a floating feeling. One breath leading to the next. As we use those exhales to soften the space between the eyes, to let the eyes rest and the forehead melt, to soften the jaw and the tongue, and allow the lips to softly meet, and all the muscles in the face to melt towards the earth. Choosing to focus on the breath, recognizing and honoring the thoughts that make us human. And then starting the practice of letting go again by drawing the focus to the breath without judgment, just practicing one breath and then the next. Breath in, breath out. Aware of the thoughts and being okay with getting carried away with them. Forgiving ourselves and gently coming back to the breath. using wise effort to bring some peace back into balance. Balance out the thoughts. Let go of the efforting. Knowing that we have choices. Aware that of who we are, that anger and love are in us, that there is hope and fear, that there is grief and blessing, that there is angst and courage. And so much more that defines us, that makes us who we are. Not good, not bad, it just is. But we get to choose our thoughts that turn into our responses. Our actions. Maybe there are times that it suits us to move in anger. It keeps us safe. Maybe there's a time to come from love. We get to make those wise choices, to check in with our thoughts, to check in with our bodies, to see how we feel. Where does that feeling live in our bodies? Do we need to let it go? How do we respond? Using the wise heart. Acting with compassion for ourselves. We can find compassion for ourselves, and we can find compassion for others. To recognize the duality that lives side by side and not judge it. To know that we have our own stories. We can't possibly know someone else's story. To make the choice to be compassionate. To wish happiness for ourselves and for others. To accept what we cannot change and to make wise choices for what we can. If we come from this place of peace and a wise heart, we make wise choices. Checking in. Staying with the breath. From the start of the inhale, following it through to the end of the exhale. Breathing in, breathing out. Is there wisdom in following the breath? Slowly becoming aware of the earth beneath you and the vast sky above you. Gently deepening your inhales and exhales. Slowly bringing your body back from stillness with small, gentle movements. With an inhale, maybe the arms extend. And with your exhale, softening the arms to a comfortable position, becoming more awake and alert with every inhale, aware of being relaxed and peaceful. Bringing to mind the intention you started your practice with. Keeping it, changing it, repeating it softly to yourself one more time. What will you take with you off your mat and into your life? If you're on your back, you're rolling onto one side or the other. Drawing the breath to fill the front and back of the heart space. And pressing into the earth to draw yourself up into a comfortable, easy seat. With your next inhale, the arms extend maybe one more time. And with your exhale, we float the palms together to rest at the heart center. Noticing how the palms meet. With the intention of meeting each other like the palms of the hands. And we lift our hearts. And we bow our heads. May our practice be continuous. May our hearts be steady. May our efforts be of benefit to all beings. And may all beings be safe. May they be healthy. May they be happy. May they find their freedom. May they know peace. May they walk through the world with ease. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Let's see. I think you have to unmute. I don't know why I can't unmute you.
Thank you, Marie. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yes, you too. I will see you again on Wednesday.